Like my friend Anita Krishna in Canada, she worked for a global news or a big news network. She started to ask just regular questions. She's like, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? We're a news organization. Isn't that what we do as a news organization? And she got fired for that, of course.
Crazy.
Hi, everybody. It is Wednesday. It's July 16th. It's 5 o'clock. We're live at 5. I have an extraordinary guest standing by, a really strong guy. You might know who he is. His name is Dan Hartman, and we're going to talk all about everything he's been through with all the COVID things. I mean, I'm going to say a couple things here to start, some disclaimers, right? I am broadcasting this on YouTube. When I first got fired from Global, for most people who know me know what I was asking about. It was the COVID narrative that we were broadcasting and reporting. Y'all know now what a fraud that was, right? It was an absolute fraud. When I started speaking up about it, I got fired. I actually have a clip I have never played before that I'm going to show you later in the show. It's a video I have that I've never even released before. I don't even know why I have it. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I just never released it before. And when I first got fired and was making videos, interviewing doctors, trying to get to the truth because I was so not confused, but I knew what we were doing in the beginning was wrong, right? And all those videos got removed off a certain platform. But I stay on this platform because, to be quite honest, this platform has a huge market share. It's a place where people will see it. It's a place where you can maybe reach people. And for that reason only, I'm staying on here, and I hope that I can reach people with what we have to say today. So I'm going to talk to Dan Hartman, whose son, his beautiful son, Sean Hartman, lost his life, and he's going to tell us what happened and how this went down and where he's at today and how he feels about everything. And I do want to talk to him about the media and how he felt about what he saw on TV, because that's my jam. That's where I came from. But I always think it's important to sort of walk a little bit down memory lane. Here we are in the middle of 2025. Let's just go back. Let's go back. And I pulled some clips of that Global News did from Ontario, right? Because he lives in Ontario. I know what happened in my province quite well. The woman that what was her name? Christine Elliott. She was the Ontario Provincial Health Officer at the time. So I do have a couple of clips of her. But let's just walk down memory lane as to where we were at and the kinds of things that Global News is reporting. This is a 2-minute clip. Don't go anywhere, okay? Stay and watch this.
January 25th, 2020. It begins. Global breaks the news.
We're learning the man had signs of the disease while on the plane back to Toronto.
The first case of a virus not even named yet is found in Canada. A man in his 50s who had just returned from Wuhan is isolated at Sunnybrook Hospital. The next day,
this could be a massive outbreak in Ontario right now.
Well, I want to rely on the information that we've received from the Ontario Medical Officer of Health.
Over the next 6 weeks, as cases rise, life remains largely unchanged. The Premier urging Ontarians to go on spring break.
Go away, have a good time, enjoy yourself.
COVID-19 biostatistician Ryan Ingman.
That's what led to a lot of the cases that we saw at the end of March and also April 2.
March 23rd, non-essential businesses are ordered closed for 14 days. 4 days later, an emergency alert warning those who went away on spring break to self-isolate. April, as Easter arrives, so too a new record. Over 5,000 active cases in Ontario. The Premier enjoys high approval ratings, but in long-term care homes across the province, deaths begin to mount.
Our worst nightmare and possibly beyond that came true.
The province calls in the military to help with 7 of the hardest hit homes.
Will the Premier now agree that his Minister of Long-Term Care failed to protect seniors in our homes?
A month later, in-class learning is cancelled for the remainder of the school year.
Above 1.
Hi, Grandma.
Pull through, you can do it.
It was hard seeing my mom in a coma, basically. She was in a medically induced coma. She was on the ventilator for 17 days.
It's scary for me, to go outside, to go anywhere, especially with the second wave.
November, a new tiered color-coded system of restrictions is unveiled.
I think this is a good plan.
If we had someone move from one color to the next, there were hardly any restriction changes.
As much as we're seeing the numbers go up, we still have the lowest numbers for any large jurisdiction.
Late that month, the messaging drastically shifts.
The situation is extremely serious, and further action is required to avoid the worst-case scenario.
See that? All of that is complete fear mongering. All of that is what I worked on. Robin Gill, I worked with her many times. The whole global news network. This is what we were doing. Ironically, that is Travis Donraj reporting, who went to the CBC after, and now he's got a problem with the CBC. He's left there. They won't let him quit because they are hamstringing him also when he wants to report on certain things. This is what happens in corporate media. And we think that this is what happens in Canada or in the US, but it absolutely is happening here too. But all that, and in that clip here, they said 5,000 active cases. You do know that people would go into the hospital with a gunshot wound, with a broken leg, whatever they went in, they'd swab them with COVID. It's an active case. We would report that on the news. Obviously, that's what we were doing, and I don't think the people in the media even clued into what a bloody racket that was. What a fraud that was. It pisses me off to no end. And also in that story, they have COVID-19 biostatistician. Whatever. There is no such thing. We just drama, scare people. And the two ladies in that clip with one lady going, I don't want to go outside. So this is how we force the fear. This is how we did it. And it bloody well worked because it scared a lot of people. And scared a lot of people who ended up with a lot of problems and injuries because of us. I completely blame the media and the government for what's gone on. But I'm not going to talk anymore. I will, but I'm going to bring in my guest who's standing by. I am very pleased to be joined by Dan Hartman. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Anita. How are you?
Well, I'm getting fired up, watching all that stuff. It's brutal. It's brutal to watch, and it makes us think of how it was. But it's a good reminder. What do you feel when you kind of see that stuff now? And welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's just so sickening. The fear mongering that went on was insane. Everyone was scared to go outside, like that poor lady, and it was all lies. That this virus wasn't near as bad as anyone said, and so many were lied to and scared to death, and it's just completely disgusting. And for the mainstream media to ignore what is happening, that's even more disgusting. That's why so many people went and got the shot.
That's right. I really, really like propaganda is one thing. Like, when the arrows in the supermarket and the signs and stuff like that, that's one thing. That's all part of it. But I think the thing that hammered it home the most was the news, because people don't go home and research things. People are just watching the news and believing what they're saying. And at the time this was going on, how were you feeling? Was it making you feel scared?
Just a little bit at the beginning, but then my fiance talked sense into me. I was even considering going to get it, and I thank God every day that I didn't. But she told me something's wrong here, and it all started to make sense every day, more and more every day, that something is definitely wrong here. When they were putting 1,000 deaths per day on the news, every day you came home, that's what was on the news, numbers. But how many of those people were vaccinated? They didn't tell us that. Just that 1,000 people died today. And it didn't matter how you died. They marked it a COVID death.
Mm-hmm. It could have been anything. You could a spleen injury or whatever. And I just interviewed a scientist. She's actually a pharma executive. I interviewed her last week, and she's even taken me even further into what I had originally thought. Because I have a lot of people that say, "What happened to the flu?" Or whatever. If you go into the hospital, you get a lot more money in the States if you get COVID. If you put someone on a vent. So the hospital protocol of putting people on vents made people sicker. Everybody, I think, now knows about remdesivir, and with each thing, there's a billing code. Like I work in a medical clinic right now, and there's billing codes, and you get more money. So it's like the administration was almost even incentivized. And I really resent the news for not reporting this. So we all know the news is just, I think they should be destroyed over this. I'm so mad at them, and I'm going to talk to you more about that. But before we go on with that, could you just tell me a little bit? I know this is hard. This is hard for me. I am a mother too. I have a hard time talking about this kind of thing. But could you tell me a little bit about your son, Sean?
Absolutely. Sean was like many other Canadian kids, loved hockey. It was his love and his passion, and it's what he loved doing more than anything. And in 2021, they said Sean could not continue to play unless he took the shot. Well, I know Sean was terrified of needles, and he never would have got it unless he felt he had to. It was his only way to keep playing the game he loved. So he took one shot of Pfizer. 4 days later, he was rushed to emergency. He had brown circles around his eyes and vomiting, severe rash, extremely sore shoulder opposite to his injection shoulder. And the doctor there did not do any blood work. He just didn't do a D-dimer test, didn't do a troponin test. He just sent him home with a pain reliever for his sore shoulder. And 33 days after Sean's first shot, my son was found dead on the floor beside his bed.
Oh.
And I had to wait 3 long months for autopsy results, and Toronto labs said his cause of death was unascertained. They didn't know how he died. They couldn't tell me how he died, which is very rare. It's only 2% of autopsies that have that result. So that made me think even more, something's wrong here. My boy was perfectly healthy. So I had to send Sean's tissue samples to America. To Dr. Ryan Cole, stained his tissue samples and found tremendous amounts of spike protein in Sean's adrenal glands. Well, your adrenal glands control your blood pressure, so likely what happened was Sean's blood pressure crashed and he died.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Sorry, again, the coroner, on the coroner's report, they said unascertained.
Yep. Cause of death, unascertained. We don't know, Mr. Hartman. We have no idea. Yeah, and they expected me to live with that.
You know, I have heard this many times now. You know, I'm sure at the time you were like, "Excuse me, what the hell?" But we know the doctors were incentivized. It was a secret. It was like a secret. Like the doctor had to put some nonsense like that. They couldn't actually put the real reason on the coroner's report, and the coroner also. But at the time, were you thinking, "Hey man, hey, wait a minute, could it be the thing?" Did you think it was a thing, or were you like, "Oh my God, I have no idea"?
No, right away I thought it was his shot.
Yeah.
Right away, because Sean was healthy. He was a hockey player. He never had a drop of alcohol in his life. Never had a cigarette. He was a perfectly healthy boy. He didn't even put salt on food. He didn't drink pop. Like he was as healthy as you can be.
Wow.
And I knew something was wrong. I knew it. And I had a feeling something's being hidden when they said unascertained.
Yeah, that's bull.
Yeah, and then I get a second opinion from another professional that, yes, it did kill him. So,
Ryan Cole, yeah, he's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Not just him. We have 3 or 4 medical experts now on our team that are going to be helping with this case. I managed to get the very first lawsuit in North America against Pfizer for wrongful death. I had a lawyer from BC, Omar Sheikh, reach out to me and say, "Contact me, Dan." And I did. And he said, "We're going to do this. We're going to go for it." And we launched 2 lawsuits, one against Pfizer and BioNTech, and one against the Canadian government, Health Canada. So the Health Canada lawsuit, the judge struck our lawsuit and said, Health Canada didn't owe Sean any duty of care. That was their official judgment. Sean was not owed a duty of care. So they struck the lawsuit. But we've now since appealed, and now it will go before 3 judges.
Okay, a couple of things there. That's staggering. Health Canada. Health Canada, I'm sure a lot of people know now, 70% of pharmaceutical companies, even in Canada, fund Health Canada, as they do in the FDA does, right? And I think at the time we didn't know that, and it was much less in the 70s. But Health Canada is just as responsible. And when Health Canada says safe and effective, they really don't know what they're talking about, because the batch that was tested, or I don't know how many batches they tested, but from what I know, the batch that was tested was a little bit of a more purely made batch. I hear that they made that from PCR testing, and it was more of a clean batch, if you can believe that. And the batch that was given to the public was a dirty batch. I mean, it was the batch of garbage that is made with E. coli, with synthetic DNA. And that goes into a vat of E. coli, and all these other things are put in it, pseudouridine and something that's antibiotic resistant. And they take that crap and dole it out to the grocery stores, to the shoppers, to all the places, and the people mix it on site and inject it. And that is such a terrible no that it goes against every dispensing rule you could have. You think a pharmacist does that when they dispense your medication? No. And I'm telling you, I knew this shit in 2021 at Global News. And had those assholes reported that to the public, there would be millions of people that wouldn't be suffering and in this situation. And that's why I am livid with these assholes. I'm not livid for myself. I don't care. I have a happy life. I have a job, whatever. Fuck them. Sorry, I'm not supposed to swear. This is on YouTube. But I am so mad at these people. And I remember seeing you on Twitter. Yeah. That one, it's quite famous, right? We feel you, man, when you're yelling. I would do the same thing. How much pressure was Sean facing for the hockey? Were they really getting on him, or was he being nice, kind of like, oh my God, like I better do this because everybody wants me to? Like, what kind of kid was he? Was he a pleaser, or like what was he thinking about all this?
Yes, Sean didn't like conflict at all. He didn't like any drama at all. And so he was a very real boy, and the team told him, you have to take this if you want to keep playing. Well, my boy played all his life with the same kids year after year, people from his town, his buddies. So they were taking it, I guess, and nothing happened to them. And of course, mainstream media pushing safe and effective every fucking day. Oh, sorry.
I'm getting my channel killed. No, I'm joking. No. I'm kidding. Yeah, go on.
So yeah, they were pushing it hard. And I guess people around him were telling him, it's okay, Sean, look, I took it, it's fine. And the saddest part is I didn't know he took it. I had no idea until the day he died. The coroner showed up at the house and got on the phone with me, and I'm so sorry about your son, Mr. Hartman. I'm like, what is going on here? I was in shock. I cannot believe my son is dead. And I said, did he take the shot? He said, yes, he took one Pfizer shot. And I had no idea. I begged Sean not to take it. I begged him and begged him. And then 2 months after Sean died, they dropped the mandate for hockey. You didn't have to take it anymore. 2 months. And if Sean would have waited 2 more months, he would have been alive. And I know damn well they dropped the mandate because of Sean. They were getting worried that, stuff's going to hit the fan. 2 months after he took it, they stopped the mandate for hockey.
God. That's awful. That's just so awful. That is so awful.
I know.
And another thing. Okay, so you were telling me about the you have a lawyer that's going to help you for going after Health Canada. You're on appeal, and the other part was what? Who else are you going after? You're going to go after Pfizer, right?
Yeah.
It was
Pfizer Canada.
Pfizer shop. Although,
Pfizer Canada and
what does
BioNTech.
your lawyer? Oh, Pfizer BioNTech. Okay, so one thing to watch out for is they changed the name. They changed it to Corminati, and so hope your lawyer. I know Umar Sheikh. I've interviewed him before. I got in touch with him somehow after I got fired. But they're really, at the end of the day, what does he say about suing Pfizer? You know that these vaccine companies, you can't sue them.
Oh, you can in Canada. In America, you can't. But in Canada, they didn't have immunity protection. That's the only reason we were able to file this lawsuit.
Okay.
There was no immunity protection in Canada. And Omar knew that and said, okay, we're launching a lawsuit against you. And it didn't get struck. And they've had lots of time to try to strike it. And they're not. They know I'm right. They know Sean died from it. And all they ever needed to really do was admit it to me. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to be on the internet every day fighting for my son. I just wanted to grieve him in private, but I'll fight to my death for my boy because I know what happened to him and they know what happened to him. And
Absolutely.
mainstream media knew, like you said, way back
Mm-hmm.
when, that people were
Mm-hmm.
getting injured, that people were mysteriously dying. And if they would have said that, I know my son. If I would have told him what I saw on the news,
Mm-hmm.
he wouldn't have took it.
That's right. If we would have cast some doubt, if we would have presented this like, hey, okay, this is kind of new. mRNA is a new technology. It's never been used in humans. It's actually it has very terrible safety signals. So anybody who's telling you the truth would never do this, right? But if the news had presented it in the way where they were like, we just want to let you know somebody's developed this. If you want to take it, you can take it. In the meantime, how about some vitamin D, some sunshine, some good exercise, some good food? No, they did the opposite of what was going to keep you healthy. These people, oh gosh, yeah. So here's a look at your. Do you remember the name of your provincial health officer at the time? You'll remember her face. I'm sorry, but I'm going to play a clip of her. Okay, here it comes, and this is just a little bit of the messaging. Here we go.
Question. What advice would you give someone who's maybe on the fence? You can speak firsthand because you just got the shot.
Yes.
What would you say to them, and also why is it important?
Well, I would say please go and get a vaccine. Please do that. Any one of the ones that have been approved by Health Canada are fine. Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, which I received today, and the J&J vaccine. We haven't received them in Ontario yet, but they've all been approved by Health Canada and by NACI, the National Advisory Committee on Immunization. So,
ironically, she's sitting in front, the bunch of vitamins behind her, and vitamins would have done you better for this virus that was a phony baloney thing. I'm beginning to think this wasn't I think they sprayed it on people, to be honest. I don't think it's not going to transmit. They had everybody washing groceries, wearing rubber gloves, freaking sanitizing. Everybody was a bloody lunatic. And all these provincial health officers only went on TV and said, vax, yeah. Take it. Nobody gave you, and all we did in the news, I'm sorry, I'm really pissed off about this too, is demonize HCQ, which is a medication that could help you, and IVM. I'm using the initials, we called it a horse dewormer and all that stuff, but this virus is not actually a virus. I think that it was like sprayed onto people because it can't transmit around the world the way we said it did. We have such good hygiene. This whole thing was complete and utter misreported crap. And has left people like, Kayla, the girl in the wheelchair, and like, I don't know how many hundreds of people I've talked to going through things like this, and you too, right? You're in your world, you come across this every day, I'm sure. Injured people.
Oh yeah, I'm very good friends with parents of 4 other kids, 2 in America and 1 in Australia, and they were all young like Sean, and they all died, and they all took Pfizer. Every one of them. And now we're good friends. We support each other, and I thank God for them. We all know what each other's going through, and we all know Pfizer killed our kids. There's no doubt in any of our minds, and we're all trying to fight.
In the clinical trial, a child died. His name was Junior Gonzalez, but he's amongst many. But he's only the name that I know, and I knew that in 2021. Why is the news not telling you that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so recently, the bloody news, these Satanists that I used to work for, they did this they did this story, right? They did this thing about the vaccine injury support program, and Carolyn Jarvis came out and did this 3-part series featuring Ross Whiteman, who had been featured before. They should have maybe talked to some other people, but I'm glad they talked to Kayla. And tell me, they approached you. What happened?
Oh yeah, 3 months ago I got a call, and they said, would you be willing to come on TV and do an interview? And I'm thinking, well, yeah, this is mainstream media. It's a chance of a lifetime. Then for some reason, they don't end up putting me on TV. I mean, I feel horrible for all the vaccine injured. Obviously, I fight for them every day, as well as Sean. But Sean didn't get to be on TV, and people who are still alive got to be on TV. Sean was an innocent boy who died, and nobody wanted to talk about it. And they talked to my lawyer for a very long time, making us both think This is going to be a huge piece about Sean, and we're finally going to get something out there. We got stuffed into a little bit on the internet, on the website. Nothing on TV for, you know, the world to see what can happen to innocent kids. But, you know, they'd rather talk about.
So they recorded an interview with you? Did they come to your house? Can you
No,
tell me what happened?
they asked me if I was willing to do an interview. I probably
Oh.
would have had to drive down to Toronto, and I said, yeah, no problem. And then
Okay.
all of a sudden they just changed their mind. Sean's story was only in the online section. There's nothing about him on TV.
So they didn't interview you on camera, on a Zoom, on a video call? Okay, but they interviewed your lawyer. Is it Umar they interviewed?
Yep.
And
They did not on camera either. They talked to him on the phone and got all the facts because we were battling VISP.
Oh.
Yeah, when I applied to VISP the first time, they denied me real quick and said there was no evidence Sean died from that. And I said, whatever. And they said, well, but if you can get new evidence, we'll let you appeal. So I said, okay, I got them the evidence they needed. That was May 8th of 2023, and they still haven't made a decision on the appeal.
Hey, you know what? VISP, it is not your job as a grieving father to go get evidence. It is their job to be looking into what happened and the medical records. They don't have to put this on you. And
Exactly.
who was the person that interviewed you?
Carolyn.
Carolyn interviewed you.
No, Carolyn called me first and asked if I'm willing to come on TV and do an interview. And then it was the other guy, I forget his name. He's the one who talked to me on the phone and said,
I want to know. I want to know his name.
It's the guy who was in the story with her.
The guy who was in the story with her?
Yeah, it was Carolyn and some other guy. I forget his name.
Who was he? Not another reporter. No.
Yeah, he works for Global.
He works for Global he's another reporter in this. Okay, I'll find out if I watch the 3-part thing. It was another.
Yeah.
I just saw Carolyn do all the interviews, but it was she could have a producer helping her, like a field producer helping her, a guy on the phone, right? But you know what they did also? They wasted your time.
Yeah.
And the arrogance of Global News. To talk to you knowing full well what happened to you and the loss you have. Dan, these people are so arrogant and so elite, and they think that they're above everybody because their stupid, ugly, makeup faces are on TV. I worked with all these assholes. They wasted your time and didn't put you on TV.
Nope.
Shame on them. And you know what they did? They juiced Umar for information. They got all the info.
Probably.
They got their notes. They kind of know they've got the notes, so they've got a little bit of material, and they could maybe counter. I wouldn't trust these people as far as you can throw them, but the arrogance of this woman. Yeah. And the only good thing about this is that now you can, I've said this in videos before, now you can share the thing, and your grannies and your aunties and stuff don't call you crazy. That's the only thing about it. It legitimizes that. How do you feel about them at least even tackling the story?
Well, at first I was very grateful because, VISP needed to be exposed, but this is information we knew about VISP back in 2021. It's nothing new. You guys aren't being heroes by putting it out there all of a sudden. And so at first I was very grateful. But then when it sunk into my head that they weren't going to put Sean on TV, I was really pissed off. That to me, that's disgusting. I mean, you're talking about VISP. How about a child who died and they're not making a decision on it? Saying they can't, their excuse was they couldn't find a pathologist to look at the new evidence. Well, there's lots in Ontario. There's lots in Ontario. Pick one. Pick whichever one you want. I don't give a shit.
They can't find a pathologist that is willing to go with the narrative.
Yeah.
That go with their job, lose their job. That is a bunch of bullshit. They clip people doing anything. You know what I'm saying? They don't have any standards for who they clip. There's a fire downtown or something. They'll clip whoever. They don't care. You think you get a fireman, you clip the fireman. Do you think they go look at his credentials or anything like that? So they told you they couldn't air the story or they couldn't pursue this any further because they didn't have this verified with a pathologist.
I'm thinking that's why they didn't put Sean on TV, because his cause of death was unascertained, and they were probably thinking, "Oh, Hartman, we can't put him on there. There's a big controversy over his son." But meanwhile, you're putting other people who are injured that are alive. Sean's dead.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you talk about him? The world would want to know. The world would want to know about the first lawsuit against Pfizer in North America, and that's not newsworthy. Like, are you kidding me?
Absolutely newsworthy. These people are stupid and they're protecting their own asses. And they like
and weren't they promoting the shots and demeaning doctors way back when who were speaking out against it? They were doing that, correct?
Oh God, yeah. Like Dr. Malthouse, who was writing exemptions for hockey players. So so that the kids didn't have to. I mean, like, you don't pressure little kids, into this type of thing, so when Sean took it, he just snuck off somewhere and took it. And that's another thing. They took away parental rights. So you don't need a signature.
Not at all.
Which is another satanic thing this country has done. So where do you think he got it? What happened?
Well, all I know is it was at a community center in his town. And like you said, kids 12 and older could go get it without parental consent. What 12-year-old knows how to make a decision about that? So
in BC, it's younger, but go ahead. Yeah.
I don't talk to my ex at all. We don't communicate. So I'll never know the absolute truth. I just know the location he went and what shot he got and the batch number. And I didn't even know he went to emergency. I didn't find that out until he died either, which is hard to live with. It sucked.
Yeah. Oh, because the ex didn't tell you?
No.
Okay. They don't want, you know what? When people get injured, sometimes I have friends that say, "Don't tell Anita," because they know what I'm like. They say, "Don't tell Anita," because but you do know that he did take it because you can see the card that they gave you. Oh, okay.
I had to get a lawyer just to get his medical records. They wouldn't give them to me. From his family doctor, from the hospital that he went to emergency. And then I had to have a Zoom meeting with the hospital. And I was pissed off. I'm saying, "You're giving me my son's records. He's my son." And I had to get a lawyer to get them. That's the only way I could get them. They wouldn't release them to me.
You had to get a lawyer to get your bloody medical records for your son. Oh, but it's okay to ask me and you, if you're going into the movie theater, what your medical records are.
Yeah.
These people, I hope they get destroyed. Oh God, here. Okay. Here is, because I've banged on about this quite a bit. I don't want to make this about myself at all, but I have a videotape of Global talking to me. I have never released this tape. This tape is like, I think 10, 15 minutes long. I guess I'll upload it at some point. I don't know why I've never done it. Again, I don't know why. Here's a snippet. This is right before I got fired. This is my boss talking to me, and he's disciplining me because I was going to the newsroom going, "People are going to get hurt if we don't start telling people what the hell is up." And this is part of this clip. This is 2.5 minutes. People in the comments, please tell me if you want me to upload the whole thing. I think I should. I got nothing to lose, but here we go. Well, that's the whole...
If you write a letter to Bhupinder and...
PNP, because that's all editorial staff. And I know that this is a conversation for the news director, not you as the operations manager. You're just doing your best here. But that's the point I'm trying to make. Is we need both sides of the story told, and fairness and accurate medical information told to people, because we're living under this masking and this and that and having to do these ridiculous rapid tests and all that kind of thing, shutting things down over Christmas. This is all has to be proven to the people as to why we're doing this to people. Because right now casinos are open.
I think there's been a lot out there. And, I can't speak to the editorial decision. That's not my department.
Right. Well, that's the whole...
If you write a letter to Bhupinder and express your concerns, that he would tell you what he thinks.
Yeah. Okay. I will do that. And we can... I'm not going back to work to be censored or told to shut up or anything like that. Now, that all has to stop now.
What? Sorry, Anita. I've asked you not to talk about... your thoughts at work.
Why not?
Because I've asked people not to bring that kind of stuff into work. It's distracting. And if you're arguing with editorial staff, that's not right. They're the ones that have to do that job. You're the one that puts it to air. If you have a concern, bring it up with their manager, but it's not your business to go and tell other people what they should be editorial decisions when it's actually their job to do that.
But I don't tell them what to do. I just bring up, hey, what about this? When they're squawking and demonizing the unvaccinated people as I'm sitting there. And so I say, well, what about this aspect? What about what this doctor said? And I'm not allowed to say those things. And I get shut down. So I guess I do have to bring those things up to the editorial because we're not showing both sides. And people are getting sick.
Well, we agree to disagree on that. And again, I'm not an editorial decision maker, so I can't speak to that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wow, Anita. Wow.
That was in 2021, and I got fired like a couple weeks after that.
Consider yourself a hero because you tried to tell us. And if you would have had it your way, thousands of people would have known. You tried so hard, and God bless you, Anita. I mean, you tried. You were someone from mainstream media who tried when none of them have. You're amazing. I have so much respect for you right now after watching that. You're what this world needs.
I think your son would be here. He would be here.
He would.
He would be here.
He absolutely would. If he was warned what could happen if he took it, he wouldn't have took it. I know my boy. Nobody spoke up except you tried. And go to sleep at night knowing you damn well tried. You're really special.
I did try. Like, that is my line. You know, if people are going to get injured and die, that's my line. That's it. This is not fair.
No.
What's happened to people? And I'm not even, knock on wood, injured. I mean, I didn't take any of these things. Doesn't mean my kids didn't.
Yeah.
Because my ex or my husband just is a vax and nut. He loves them. He thinks they're the best thing since sliced bread. I think I just don't even know how we don't get along on that front. I'm like, you're crazy. And he goes, well, it cures tuberculosis. Hey, nobody has tuberculosis. Like what the hell? The measles is a rash. This whole thing is a giant racket and it just keeps people injured, right?
Yep.
And so anyway, so what for you at this point, what would make this a little bit better and like what would justice look like on certain levels?
Well, an apology would bring back a little tiny bit of respect I could give them. I hate them very much. And I know I'll never get an apology because that's saying they were wrong. So for me, the only justice is hearing a judge say guilty. You're guilty. And that won't bring back Sean, but at least maybe then he can rest in peace and I'll know that I did something so good to fight for him. And that's all I've been doing for almost 4 years. I just want to hear a judge say guilty. I don't care if they give me a damn dime. I want to hear a judge say, you're guilty. You're scum. You're guilty. That's what I want.
That's right. And they are, because we know so much about now, like how these things were made. Everybody got different batches. And I feel like they did that on purpose so that some people got sick. Oh, I took it, I'm fine. I took it, I'm fine. Well, if you're in the I took it, I'm fine club, congratulations. Not everybody is in the I took it, I'm fine club. And everybody has something. Like, there's always going to be something that happens. Anyway, the guy that you heard in that clip there, he had a heart problem. He's still alive, but he doesn't work there anymore. And he actually lives really close to me. I'm going to go up to his house one day and just knock on the door and be like, you. And he was my friend, for so long because I worked there for so long. And there was a kid there, 24. He worked, I think, Global Regina. Matthew Rodriguez-Pole. He took 3 and died. There is a producer there that works on Global National. I don't care. I'm saying all this shit. Her husband was 36 years old. And then I think it was 20 2021, he got one. I think he did, but he died. He had a small heart problem, but nobody connects this, right? And there's a camera op there who was jogging. I think he took 3 and he had a heart attack and nearly died. Doriana Temelo died. I mean, I can't say why all these people died. There's a couple people there that just died suddenly, and these people are too brain dead to connect the dots.
Yeah.
You know, they believe their own bullshit because they have to go along with the conformity of it.
Oh, of
you
course,
have to conform, right? Yeah, otherwise, people knew not to talk about this stuff, right? Yeah. And so where are you at now? Like, do you have? I don't know. How do you have other children? Or
No, Sean was my only boy. Now I'm left with nothing. No, won't see him get married. I won't see him have kids. I'll never have grandkids. He didn't even get to have his driver's license. His whole life was taken away. Boy in the prime of his life, and he was such an angel and such a good kid.
You know that boy in the clinical trial, Junior Gonzalez. His dad was a single dad, and his boy, that's all he had. Him and his boy. That was his whole family, right? And now he fights. You know, he speaks out quite a bit, and I really would just like to see all this change. I mean, I don't know. Slowly, I think things are going to get. I don't know. How is this going to change? I have no idea at this point.
It'll change when one person gets through and defeats them, and the judge says guilty. That's going to start the ball rolling, but not until that. Yeah. And unfortunately, I might be Canada's only chance for a wrongful death suit, because there is no other one that's going on. And I have to win this, not just for Sean, but for everybody. I want to represent everybody who's been injured or died. And none of us will ever have justice totally, but hearing guilty can help start healing, I would think. I would hope. Hearing
guilty would help. By the way, in that clip, my old boss told me you need to write to stop bothering editorial. So the editorial news director, I'm going to put his name up. This is his name, Bhupinder Hundal. He was the news director of editorial. He didn't like me in the end, but I went to him and I was begging him. I was like, there's some like perverse incentives behind this jab, man. Like we cannot be doing this. And I said, how do you think they made this so fast? Where do you think they got all the DNA and turned this into mRNA? Like, what do you think they're doing? And he said, oh, if all the scientists in the world get together, then these things can happen. No, you dipshit. You're so stupid. And you know what he said to me in the end? He goes, well, I suggest you take it. None of these people are doctors.
I know.
I wouldn't even trust the doctor. Oh, this is like, did you ever think in your life you'd see something like this happen in the world?
No, it's, I don't even recognize this world anymore. And the hate for people who refuse to take it is totally insane. They just hate you if you didn't take it. Like, well, how come nobody was like this with the flu shot? You weren't forced to get a flu shot to have your job, or to go to a movie theater, or to go to the gym. And I mean, you could go into a restaurant and they'd say, okay, you got to wear your mask. But when you get to the table, you take your mask off.
Yeah. Yeah. They're so like, whatever. Give me a bloody break. And then there's so much stuff behind it. I did have one more clip, and this is from my friend Jimmy Dore. This is about the batches, and then we'll talk a little more. And here, this is a minute and a half, but this is interesting because this is about how people got one batch. I don't know if this is helpful, and then the public got another. I talked a bit about it earlier.
Okay, yeah, sure. So the key point here is that in the clinical trial that Pfizer BioNTech ran on their COVID vaccine, they used vaccine doses that were made with one manufacturing process, what you refer to as process one. But what was given to the public after the trial was not the same type of doses. Instead, they used a different manufacturing process, an upscale manufacturing process they call process 2, and that was what everybody received when they got vaccinated. And now the question is, well, what's the difference between these two processes? Does it matter? And it probably does matter a lot. And I can walk you through some of the evidence of why we think it matters. But just to give you sort of the general background, and I don't know all of the technical details of this. I know enough to kind of understand it, but we all have learned about So what do you need to do to make an mRNA vaccine? You need to generate mRNA. How do you do that? Well, mRNA is like a copy of a part of a strand of DNA. So you need DNA as sort of your backbone template that you can then create mRNA off of that DNA. Okay. So where do you get that DNA from? Well, you can, with the process one, they were basically using a PCR process to duplicate DNA, right? That's what they do with PCR. They want to check, do you have any of this remnant of DNA in your nose that we can say was, COVID, was SARS-CoV-2 or whatever, right? So they replicate it, right? That's the whole idea behind the PCR.
I mean, that is quite interesting. This is like now the second, there's numerous people that speak about this, but the batches, the E. coli, how it's made. So I hope your lawyer, and all the people around you on your team get all the ammo that they need. Yeah. And is there anything else you'd like to say, or you want people to know about all of this?
I just hope we can all come together, not just Canadians, everyone around the world. And I hope people will support my lawsuits and help me fight them. And I'm so grateful to you, Anita. I mean, you're a breath of fresh air. You're what people need to hear. You're out there talking about it and giving people a chance to talk about it. And like I said before, if you would have had your way, Sean wouldn't have taken the shot. So
yeah,
you yourself would have saved so many lives just by getting that info out there.
We could have saved so many lives at Global with a 30-second voiceover. We could have said something, but those people didn't. And I don't care what happens to that station. It's my little mission to destroy them. Of course, I've had like legal stuff happen and nothing's come of it. You almost can't win. It's an uphill battle. Well, screw them. At least I can use my voice. And there's not a word of what I'm saying that's a lie. Like not a word. And they were nasty as shit. And I just pray that you are successful. We all need to pray for your beautiful son. He will never go forgotten throughout all of this. We will remember him till the end of time. And I think about him all the time. And I know many people do. And so his passing won't be in vain. So, and people can follow you to get more information, just to see what's going on X, correct?
Yeah, on X, it's answers4 Sean, SEAN. And on Facebook, it's just Dan Hartman. You'll see a picture of Sean, and he's like, it's like an anime. He's an angel, and that's how you'll know it's me.
Yeah.
And we're also doing a fundraiser this Saturday in Barrie, Ontario. If anyone wants to come out, get in touch with me. I'll let you know where it is. It's free. There's going to be food and games. Kids can come. Dr. Chris Shoemaker will be speaking, and Dr. David Speaker will also be speaking at it. And let's just all come together and defeat the evil. And I truly believe we can do it. I really do. They can't hide much longer. Everything's out there now.
Yeah, it is out there now. And all these little keyboard warrior jerks, like I would just ignore them, although they can drive you bananas. Like I can't stand these people. These people just type away and think they got big balls. You ain't got no big balls. Like, come on now, But anyway.
Did you see on the post you made tonight? The trolls started.
I saw some trolling and I was like, and I refrain from commenting, otherwise you'll get in a whole schmozzle. But you can comment all you want. But these people are so dumb.
Oh, I know.
I don't have time. If you're stupid, I don't have time for you. Let them be stupid. Let them dig their own hole. We all reading. We all know that is this what you wanted? This isn't what you wanted.
Yeah.
Global news. Can anybody watching? There's 241 people watching right now. Can you please share this to Global News too? Maybe I'll leave some emails and stuff like that. This is insane, especially Global News Ontario and stuff. This is insane. We don't want this anymore. But Dan Hartman, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And I hope I can talk to you again. You can update us anytime you want. Anytime.
Thanks, Anita.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Okay, take
God
care.
bless
God
you.
bless
Thank
you. All right. Everybody, oh my God, that's like the worst. That is just the worst of the worst. the outcomes that are happening to people. And when I read the comments, I read every single comment, and it's insane. The stuff that people are going through. I don't know if this will see the light of day on certain platforms. There's a few comments here. I want to put some up and read. I'm sorry for what, they're just so lovely. I just love how the audience, when we live stream, comments. I wish I could see you all and talk to all of you. Everybody's got a story. I always think about this guy. But how about that clip, of Global News? That's just like scratching the surface of videos of them coming after me. And I guess it's time I release these things, because people bitch and moan about less. I should really just be putting these things on. Anyway, that's the live stream for today. That was really heavy for me. I'm a mother, right? Anyone this is the worst outcome, and somebody has to. This is why we go on about this. This is why we keep fighting about this. When people say to you, "Oh, COVID's over," what are you still talking about? Whatever. You must keep talking about what was done to people, because if those two cows, do I have a picture of them? These two idiots, Satanists, who full on Bonnie knew this was only tested on rats, and she's telling pregnant women to take it. Theresa Tam is just as stupid with all her, and what they try to do with the food and the milk and all that, how they get their fingers and all that. These two getting the Order of Canada is a joke, and that just shows you that it's actually Satanists. That is the spitting in your face that they are doing, adding insult to injury for Canada to do this. I want to see this country change. I don't want this shit anymore. Anyway. Thank you so much for watching this live stream with me today. I really appreciate you guys. And I did get a different daytime job because I don't have enough YouTube followers to do this as a living. So I hope I can still continue to make these live streams on Wednesday. I'll keep you all posted. Much love to you. Thank you so much for all the wonderful words that you say. I'm going to wrap it up for now, and we'll catch you next time.